Hello everyone, this is Jay Nelson, Sideline Sports, alongside JB Ellis, and we are here with the one, the only. We're at Buddy Valastro Ristorante, as you can see, very authentic, and this is the man himself.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here with you guys. We've been hanging a little bit, having some fun. I brought out our signature veal parmigiana, bone in now. So we're gonna share it and we'll get into it. I'm gonna cut you guys a little piece each here, and we can talk it up.
I mean, you're not seeing this anywhere else. We were on Radio Row earlier today, eating with one of the best chefs in Vegas, worldwide actually.
Worldwide, JB. Don't, he's no slouch. Come on.
And he's from my area of the woods, back east.
That's right.
New Jersey. I mean, not everything's perfect. I'm a New Yorker, but my mom came from Jersey, so we'll say it's okay.
You gotta look. You can't hate on Jersey.
You're a Giants fan. Like, how can you hate on Jersey?
Both Giants.
Both Giants.
Both Giants. Exactly.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, a little bite, a little bon appetito, and you guys excited about Super Bowl? Who do you think is going to win?
So, I think it's going to be Kansas City. I mean, Patrick Mahomes looks locked in. Pacheco gives that offense life, and their defense, they've never had a defense like this at all. So, I think Andy Reid's going to prove why he's one of the top 3 coaches in the NFL.
I like Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Really tremendous coach. Nice guy, too. How we think? Not bad?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like a head coach at a restaurant here. You know, I'm gonna make the plays to make the food good. You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about a decorated, well-known, and he's known worldwide. Here's your question. And we different on this earlier. We had an interview earlier, so I think the 49ers get them this time. And that's no shade towards Kansas City at all. I had a chance to meet with my players and everything. But they have an MVP level running back. And it's Kansas City Chiefs, and not that they can't because Spagnoli's defense is awesome.
Yep. And he was a giant.
He was a
I
giant.
don't want to say nothing. I don't want to bring that up, but he was a giant.
This is the man that threw every type of defense at Tom Brady.
That's right.
And beat him.
That's
Not
right.
once, but twice.
The only team, yeah. No, I don't want to brag. And listen, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. You have to have so much respect for what the guy did and who the guy is.
Without a doubt.
But the Giants beat him twice. I'm just saying.
Even when they weren't defeated, we beat them.
Yeah.
He only wants to be there.
Which is ironic that Spagnolo threw the same type of defense that Belichick used to throw in the 80s with y'all's Giants.
That's right. They're the tuna. And listen, that's one thing I'm sure we're all going to agree on. Best defensive player of all time, Barnes Taylor.
LT, he's my favorite defender.
I mean,
He's my
the
favorite
best.
defender ever.
You know, I meet a lot of people, right? And again, I meet celebrities and I'm not like, I don't get giddy, right? The only time in my life, it's a true story, I met LT at a Giants game. And I was like, LT, I was like, oh my God, I was like a 12-year-old kid.
Wow.
And I met him and I was like, LT, I'm so excited, I want to tackle you. He looked me dead in the eye, he's like, you try it. And I was like, it was the best.
He's a great guy. He's on NFL alumni media with us, alumni media, like us, Farad. He was down on Radio Row today as well. We didn't have a chance to speak when we had to run out, but nice guy. Gotta love LT, especially being a Giant fan.
Look, change the game. He was on every tackle. 56. I'll never forget the interview with, my favorite story was, who was the Eagles quarterback at the time? I'm trying to think.
Cunningham?
What year?
Before Cunningham. It was, I think it was Jaworski. Jaworski said that every time he called hike, he had to know where LT was on the field. And one time he looked and he didn't see him, he called timeout. And LT was on the sideline. He goes, I swear to God, every time.
That is a great story.
He said he called timeout. And the coach said, I didn't know where LT was.
I could see why I'd be afraid of him if I was a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
He
he's
used
scary.
to talk shit. You know who else I love? Strahan. Strahan was great too.
Yes.
And Strahan, another guy. Remember we were talking about, like, before we came on, about like people on camera and off camera? Strahan, the best.
We have some mutual friends, and everyone says that about us. So I am
Strahan is
sure.
the nicest guy. Love Michael. And love him for what he did for the Giants.
Oh.
I tease him too. I'm like, you're my number 2, bro. I'm like, LT's my number 1.
I think he can understand.
Wait, he gets it. He gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And, you know, tough to follow in that footsteps anyway, to be that good. I think he'll be okay with being number 2.
100%.
So tell us about what you're doing here in Vegas, and then, you know, I mean, you're basically going worldwide. You got your Walmart with a great product, which I want to hear about as well.
Yeah, so, look, we have like 6 different concepts out here in Vegas. We started, this was the first one, Buddy V's is about 10 years old. So the fact that we're 10 years old and we're still going is, it's a testament. And I gotta tell you, the truth of the matter is, it's my staff here. We have some of the most talented people in hospitality and cooking in the world, especially Vegas as a city. So my staff, I told my staff, I'll never forget from day one, I'm like, look, I'm gonna bring them in one time. They're gonna come in, but you're gonna keep them coming back. And the fact that we're doing that 10 years later here, and it's a testament to what the food is. The idea was like to bring the culinary rock stars in my life, my mom, my grandma, my wife, my mother-in-law, my aunts. I wanted you to feel like you were sitting in my grandma's basement in Jersey eating, you know, the food that she just whipped up, and that's kind of what we did here at Buddy V's. But Vegas to me is such a great city. Super Bowl, I'm a huge football fan. You know, I know a lot of the players. I got so much respect for the game and what they do. So just to be out here and be part of different events, some charity events like, you know, we're going to do Taste of the NFL, you know, which gives back, and being able to kind of like hang and watch the game and be in Vegas. I don't think there's a better city on the planet than Vegas to throw a Super Bowl, right? You know, with the infrastructure and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I always got a million things going on, so I'm like crazy. But so between the 6 concepts here, 14 bakeries around the country, we do our own manufacturing. That honestly, the last 3 years, that's what I've really been concentrating on. So I learned how to make quality stuff at high speed. So, like, I'll give you an example. We're doing cakes at 18 to 20 a minute.
Christ.
Okay. So we're doing, we cut like individual cake slices. We do about 110 slices per minute.
That's a lot of slices
All
of
right.
cake.
But what we did was, I went real scientific, and to preserve, I didn't want to use preservatives or junk in the product. We use matte packaging, where we control the atmosphere in the packaging, and we get like a 30-day shelf life. We're putting no preservatives in it, just because it's like vacuum packed and sealed. Honestly, that's what the Europeans have been doing for years, and that's how they preserve their food. So we kind of applied that, and now we're in 3,800 Walmarts across America with some of those products. We're going into a lot of different places with our product. Filming, right? I filmed new show, Buddy Valastro's Cake Dynasty, which aired on A&E and is going to air on Hulu soon. So it's kind of like where I am now, the succession of Carlos, all the different ventures that I'm working on. Different than Cake Boss in a sense where, you know, Cake Boss was more just about the cake. This is about my life. Like, really understand me as a businessman and you know, kind of the way I tick. I want people to see it and be inspired, right? Because look, I feel like I'm living the American dream. I mean, I was a kid, wanted to be like my dad, took over a family bakery when he died when I was 17, dropped out of high school, right? And then from that, got everything that's here. Right? And I want people to know that it's from hard work, it's from dedication, it's about being, it's about being who you are, right? It's about, like, you know, we talked about it, like, are you the same person off camera or on camera?
Right.
I mean, we got to interact with you for the last couple hours and see who you are. And I mean, you know, not just on camera, when somebody will walk up down the hallway, and you're a genuinely good person. And by the way, this food is amazing. Growing up in an Italian household, my mom, her sauce, you know, almost every week, maybe one Sunday we took off. My wife, who's Italian right now,
She's Italian right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Next week she'll be something else?
She's
You
thinking
know,
about it.
you know, well, when I say I like somebody else's red sauce, you know, I may not be
In trouble.
I may not be going
In trouble.
home.
You should have said I'm married for right now.
You gotta get a little bit of the pasta. Get some of the pasta.
I did have one question for you, though.
Please.
You know, you said you've been on the air since 2009. You're on the AE, and you've done tons of projects, did 18, 20 takes and everything.
Yeah.
And if you could get into a time machine, right? Go back in time and give advice to 12-year-old Buddy, what would you tell him? One piece of advice.
Wow, that's heavy. I would have spoken more to my dad and spent like try to prepared myself for him dying when I was 17. You know, because even though it was the hardest part of my life, it was the part of my life that made me who I am. You know, sometimes you have to go through something extraordinary and bad, but you come out a different person with a different perspective. You know what I'm trying to say? Listen, you were in the military, right? And thank you, God bless, because the veterans have a special place in my heart. Sometimes when you've been through that hell, it changes who you are, what you do. And I always try to do the right thing. Right? I believe in karma. I believe like if you're good, good things will come to you, no matter what. I feel like hard work, dedication, dreaming big, all those things are what makes people successful. And listen, you got to be a little crazy. Listen, let's be for real, right? We all know a lot of successful people. We talk to them, we interview them, right? When you get those people who are usually successful, they're a little crazy. They tick a little different, right? They're obsessive compulsive, they're a certain thing, and you start looking at that. You say, I have these attributes.
Why are you looking at me when he says a little crazy?
Yeah, right. You know, I'm just saying.
Turn the camera around, John.
Yeah. No, but it's you know that you're driven a certain way, and that's how you get where you gotta be in life, right? No matter what. Listen, and I'm not telling you because of whatever, but every day I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. I go to my factory. I'm on the line, all right, with my people.
That's a good
I know
boss. That's a good
everybody's
leader.
name. Okay,
And
I
you know
know that PSI in the grease machine is got to be at 15% to grease the form, the perfect rotation.
And you know what's scary is I actually believe you after seeing you for the last 2 hours. I am convinced that that's 100% true.
100%.
Yeah.
You know,
He doesn't seem like a man that would
You're
fit.
not like the cracker whip from behind the scenes. You're
No,
a
it's
leader
not.
in the
general,
front.
you got to bleed with your troops.
Lead by example.
And of course,
Yeah.
you lead from the front.
Yeah.
Those people get respected even more.
Yep.
Do as I do, not as I say.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, listen, it's no matter what the challenge is, I go on head on. You know, I was trained that you could outwork your problems, right? And then listen, the first time I failed was devastating because I never failed, right? Like, why did I never fail? I never failed because in my mind, I would always be able to outwork my problem. I don't care if I got to be here 18 hours a day. I don't care if I got to be here 7 days a week. I remember days in that bakery after my dad died where I didn't see daylight. I would go in when it was dark and I would come out when it was dark. And I would be there and I had to be the first one in. I had to humble myself to the people who knew more. I had to become who I was, right? And I had to do things to be that person. But you come to a point in your life with success and you're like, well, this bakery's not doing it. All right, well, I'm just going to go there. Okay, if I go there and I stay there, I can fix it. But then this bakery, it's like a whack-a-mole game, right? It's like you can't split yourself into too many pieces. And the first times when I did have something that had to close, right? I probably kept it open longer than I should have because I didn't want to fail. And I'll never forget, I remember talking to Emerald's main guy, his name was Tony. And he said to me years ago, he's like, oh, you know, did you ever like, was there like a fail? A fail? Like, you know, because in my mind, I've always thought that I could outwork my problems, but then there comes a time in your life where you can't.
It makes sense. I mean, and also, I mean, doing something like that,
That's the real challenge. That's the real challenge right there.
Well, that's why, like, I got into manufacturing, because I could control it, because it's all coming out of my place in Jersey City. You know, I like, I guess, you know, you see the cakes I do. So in my mind, I'm an engineer. So like I can dream it up and I make it happen. So now I engineer these lines to make this happen to, you know.
That's awesome.
to
That is really cool. And you know, what you were saying before about, you know, outworking, sometimes that's gonna be tough on you because you really do so much and have some sort of balance.
I'll work till I'm dead. Like my wife will tell you, she's like this. She calls me the anomaly. She's like, how the hell are you not tired? I'll come home and I'll be an 18-hour day and whatever, and I'm, you know, and no matter how shitty the day was, this is a true story. No matter how shitty the day was, and how I feel like I got my ass kicked and was defeated, the morning comes, 5:30, boom, I get in the car, I start that car, and I put the music on. That's when I do my thinking, okay? And I'm driven to fucking succeed, no matter what I gotta do. To what got me yesterday, I am gonna overcome today.
That's amazing though.
Yeah.
Lucky. And that's why you're successful, because not everyone has that.
No.
Some people just, oh, I'm gonna give up. That's it. You know, there's that drive.
And you love what you do.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the first thing.
If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, you're right. You're passionate about it, you know. You love seeing people's joy when they eat your product and they're happy with it. You know what went into it. The love, the this or that. Listen, there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be this and there's always going to be that. I just know I could, at the end of the day, put my head on my pillow. I know I always tried to do the right thing. And I could only be responsible for me.
Hey, someone will love it.
Yeah. And now it's interesting too, because like the kids are coming into the dynamic, and I see certain attributes from certain kids.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy, you know, and just seeing the next generation.
It's pretty cool. I mean, how old are they now?
So my oldest is Sophia. She's a junior at the University of Delaware. She's studying business and hospitality. So she wants to come out and work in a family business. Junior is a freshman at Syracuse, and Buddy Junior is same thing. He's very mechanically inclined. He's got an engineering style mind, and he doesn't like to give up. I remember he was like 10 years old, and he went in the garage because his quad wasn't working, and he took the whole thing apart, the motor and everything, put it back together. He was like 10.
That's right. I mean, I took things apart, but that wasn't put it back together. I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Probably gonna do an NASA mission.
Yeah, I hope. Better than me. Better than me. I'm more of a duct tape and hammer type. You know?
If it works, it works.
Let's ring it. Let's ring it together. You know.
I'll take it apart, put it together. No.
But yeah, no. And then I got my son Marco, who actually really is the salesman. He can sell. Like he's got the personality. People love him and gravitate to him. And then my youngest Carlos, 13, and he's the smartest one. He's like straight A student, you know, like and everything else. But look, I didn't like school. You know, like certain people like school, certain people don't. And I'm not the kind of dad, like my son Buddy struggled to go to college. My wife was like, no, you gotta go to college. And I'm like, does he really? And not because I don't believe in college, but if you're not going there determined to learn or whatever, you're wasting your time.
True.
You might as well get to what you're gonna do then.
You know, and it doesn't necessarily help everyone. I mean, it's not for everyone, depending on what you want to do in life. You know, there's so many different career options. And, you know, I would have a master's degree. I've never used my degree ever. You know, all that money wasted. It just is what it is.
Well, listen, the thing is like, it's less about it was less about my son. I struggle with the people who go and you know, maybe their parents aren't paying for college and they got student loans, and then you come out of school and then you're in debt, you know, I don't know, $50,000 to $200,000, right? And then you say to yourself, I'm going to go become a plumber anyway, or whatever. You would have better off graduating and becoming a plumber, and you wouldn't have had $200,000 in debt.
Exactly.
And you would have been, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, if you love school and you want to be there, and go apply yourself and do the right thing. If you're just going to check the box and say that I got the college experience, and that was and I was proud of my son, because he's like, I just don't want to go party and that's it. You know, he was like, I was like, listen, you know, you got into a prestigious college, you got to go apply yourself. You got to see what you can take from there and apply it to the business.
What's your son that's going to Syracuse? What's he going to study?
That's what he's in. So he's in a Whitman school for entrepreneurship.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so proud of him. He's doing really good too.
That's awesome.
But listen, I try to be a realist.
From talking to you beforehand, because we sat and spoke for about almost an hour before we started taping, which we've interviewed many people. You're maybe
He's the most fascinating.
but I mean, I can count on my one hand how many people we spoke to for 10 minutes before we did an interview. We were in here for about an hour, and just talking, just real talk.
Yeah.
And, you know, learning about Buddy.
And this is all real talk too. This is all
No,
organic.
it is,
This
but
isn't
I mean,
fabricated.
you know, without the camera.
Right.
You know, because sometimes people think the camera comes
Yeah.
up and it's fake. This is who he is as a person. That's phenomenal. You can't make that up.
Somebody from humble beginnings, man. You know, it's refreshing.
You get it. Yeah. You
Come across somebody like
You
that.
meet, you meet a lot of athletes, and not all are that way, but some athletes,
Yeah.
you know, are a little bit different once that camera goes on.
100%. Well, look, again, I believe that, you know, my parents brought me up in a way to, you know, be a certain man, and it's the philosophy I live by, and I think that the more people you reach out and touch, the more of a difference you make in the world.
Right.
I want to meet people, and then they say, hey, you know what, that guy is not, he's a cool guy. You know, he is what he is. You know, and that's it.
Makes sense. Very true. You know, you could definitely tell. I mean, your parents, I'm sure, were very proud of you. I'm sure they're looking down and proud of you. You know, because you can see by who you are. And, you know, growing up in an Italian family, I get it. I know sometimes they can be strict. Sometimes
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
they're very loving. They're very demanding at the same time.
Everything, yeah.
You know, but with the product, this is the product they're looking for. What you're doing. I mean, that you care about people. That you're looking to do things to make things better, not just take.
You know, they taught a lot of lessons. You know, I remember my dad used to always give to the homeless, to people who were hungry. He had such a soft spot. You know, no matter what, he would always, somebody, oh, can I have $1? He would give him $1. Like, that's the way he was. And I'll never forget, you know, like now thinking back, understanding it. You know, he told me stories of him, my grandma, and my aunt in Sicily during World War II, where they had to split an orange for dinner. So he knew what it was like to be hungry. So when he saw people hungry, it broke his heart, and he wanted to give, and he wanted to do that, you know. And I would ask him, well, you know, you gave that guy, why did you give him $1? And he would say, you know, that could be God. It could be, you know, it could be me one day asking for it. Maybe somebody's gonna help me get a meal or whatever. And it's true, you know. So it's like those are the life lessons that I live by today, and I try to teach my kids to do it as well. And I think more people in the world should do that, you know. I mean, especially if you could, you know. I mean, listen, I can afford to give somebody $1 if they ask me.
It's one of the things that I've learned to love, because I wasn't always in broadcasting. I had a regular job I retired from this year, actually. You know, one of the things I spoke about 4 times this week, the athletes, everyone just sees them as players. You don't realize anything more. Our co-host, Dave DeRoche, has a foundation, you know, and he's trying to give back. And most of them are. You know, there's always whatever cause is important to them, and they're trying to, you know, raise money for whatever charities means to them, and they give so much of their time.
Please.
it's such a great thing to see, and nobody's aware of it. They're not looking for any praise or publicity for it. They're just out there doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I was good friends with Justin Tuck, same thing. He was just a hell of a guy, always for charity and stuff like that. And brilliant. He's working on Wall Street. You know what I'm trying to say?
Really?
Like, you know, he went from that, like, you know how proud you are of that? Even Strahan, man. Like, when I see him, I'm like, dude, I am so proud of you. Like, you know, you just are so good at what you, because, listen, not everybody can just go in front. Look, I've done thousands of hours of television. Not everybody can go and just turn it on and host it. Strahan is entertaining.
Yes, he is.
Like, you know, there's just something about him that you love. And, you know, when you've been with those people and met those people, when you see them accomplish that, you gotta tip your hat. Just, you know, so much respect.
Definitely, I can't agree more.
Want to wrap?
I know you're
You're the host.
John, you gotta eat.
You got a
yes.
host. Yeah, I'm recording. You want me to eat while I'm recording?
Actually, I know we're free-forming this one, which is very different than usual, but Jason, you open, you have to close.
I guess so. Listen, well, thank you.
Hey,
No,
such a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is
Thank
great.
you.
This has been a Sideline Sports production here at Buddy V's Ristorante. You all out here in Vegas, anywhere where you may have a little something. Stop in and have a bite, especially if big man's in the house. Don't ever turn nothing down. And most importantly, don't turn Sideline Sports down. Jay Nelson, signing out.